Hey guys, and welcome back to Mangotology. If you're new here, let me introduce myself to you. My name is Steven Mango, and I'm an ex-Scientologist that works here on YouTube to expose Scientology. So if you want to stay up to date on all my videos, please make sure to go down below, hit that red subscribe button, and turn on your bell notifications, and you'll get an alert whenever I release a new video exposing Scientology. So for today's video, we are going to be talking about the underground bunker that was found on Scientology's gold base, and whether or not this is a possible whereabouts for Shelly Miscavige. Let's just kind of get right on into it and why we're talking about this today. So Radar Online contacted me probably, I would say, 3 weeks ago, I'd estimate, to comment and to speculate on this underground bunker that they found on Scientology's gold base. Now, gold base is their management base, as you guys may or may not know, depending on what your knowledge is of Scientology. It was originally where they would film all of Scientology's like training and promotional videos. And those videos, you would think that they would have the Hollywood soundstage, which they have now, which is their Scientology Media Productions. You would have thought, Scientology would have thought to maybe have that television studio in LA to begin with, because at Celebrity Center and basically just Celebrity Center, they would have auditions for different Scientology related videos. So whether it was their Dianetics video or, you know, they various over the years like re-update their videos and their promotional and marketing videos, and you would audition at Celebrity Center and they would put down actual acting breakdowns. And acting breakdowns would be the specific roles that they're casting for each and every Hollywood TV and film project. So the main breakdowns, which all agents and managers in Hollywood submit on, Scientology would also utilize those same breakdown services and release their roles, so all the top agents and managers in Hollywood would be submitting their actors. Now, most people who may be smart or privy, or people in the industry, would probably not really submit, you know, the top working actors that they have. A lot of the times they would release them on Actors Access, which is the actors version of breakdown services, if that makes sense. So if they don't get all the top level Hollywood actors, or just qualified, I mean, they're going to be qualified, but a lot of those different actors at that level of their career who do have professional representation don't want to be appearing in Scientology promotional videos. So actors get released these breakdowns as well for like smaller projects or more like entry-level sort of stuff, not like really big television jobs or anything, but you would submit, and a lot of the times it would say it's Scientology, other times they wouldn't, and you would submit yourself with your headshot, your resume and everything to the casting director, and there's two specific ones that do it for Scientology. And then they would call in actors to go to Celebrity Center to audition for the role. And a lot of the times, either before or after the audition, they would have registrars and recruiters and other people who would be informing the actor about Scientology. And they'd be like, hey, you know, if you want to be a part of this training video, it only makes sense that you would learn a little bit more about what we do here and what Scientology is. And these actors who want the $500 paycheck, or, you know, it could be higher, could be lower, it really would depend on the job. But, you know, when you're a new actor or just someone in general, any one of you or I would like to make $500 in one day, would say, okay, yeah, let me take the stupid tour, smile, and maybe then I'll get, you know, kind of higher up on the pile of actors' submissions or whatever for the role. And then they would do a tour, sell you the book and lecture course, and then later on, 10 years down the road, you know, you're joining the Sea Org after giving $1 million and you're bankrupt and you devoted your whole life to Scientology. So that's what chasing the $500 paycheck or wanting to be in a promotional video. And a lot of actors do think, hey, you know, and this all ties in, guys. A lot of actors would think, hey, you know, I want the footage for my demo reel so I can get professional videos, and it's a whole different thing. So again, I'm going off a little bit of a tangent, but what would happen is you would have to go to Scientology's gold base, and you would have to get clearance to go to gold base. Again, because if it's me, they're not going to let me on gold base if I was trying to submit for one of their acting jobs. So they would like someone who's usually a current Scientologist. They would rather go for someone like me that was in for a while, even if maybe I wasn't 100% what they had in mind for the role. They're like, hey, like, we can send him to gold. He's in good standing and he's not like there to whistleblow or to expose or to see like the different conditions, the barbed wired fences, the security patrol, and everything that happens at gold base. So the actors would show up to gold base, and you'd have to again get the clearance to be able to show up. You would shoot on the Scientology sound stages, and it's all Sea Org members, so they're the cast, not the cast, they're like the crew, they're the camera guy, they're the lighting, they're all of that. And they're trained in the Sea Org to hold these technical filmmaking, video, AV sort of roles. And they would shoot all the Scientology videos. Now Scientology Media Productions, I point that way because it is within that sort of earshot from me. Scientology Media Productions has now taken over, and they have their own sound stages for the Scientology television network. So that's a little basic rundown on Gold Base. And I'm going to be very upfront and clear because I'm going to explain kind of what they were saying in the article and stuff, but very upfront saying I was never at Gold Base. I never visited, I never worked there, I wasn't in the Sea organization. I am in my eyes, a 10-year Scientology expert / critic who has left the church, who is privy to a lot of information about what happens inside Scientology. I wasn't, again, escaping Gold Base. I didn't have some sort of highly technical trained post under David Miscavige. So there's others you guys can get that information from. This is my channel, and I'm going to give you guys what I know from my experience to base this information on. So I get a call a couple weeks ago, I don't remember if I said that or not, from Radar Online. And I do a lot of, not a lot of, but I do some consulting with different media sources and different people who are doing stories on Scientology, and I give them my expertise, if you will, to help them with their stories and their investigative reports on Scientology. And they contacted me, one of the journalists that I know, because they were doing a story about how they found an underground bunker on Gold Base, because they were flying above, I guess maybe in like a helicopter, doing maybe drones. I don't really know exactly how they saw this underground bunker, but they found it. Now, I'll show you guys kind of what I said in my email and stuff to them, and we're going to read a little bit their article and kind of explain, but basically, actually, you know, it kind of makes sense. Let me first show you guys a little bit what I said. The article, of course, is very dramatic. Scientologists construct bunker in Tom Cruise's secret getaway. So it does sound a little bit dramatic. So this is kind of how I explained Gold Base and what this underground bunker is used for. And then we're going to go into the article and then kind of explain, because there were some people being like, oh my God, Stephen Mango was never at Gold Base, and you know, why is he commenting on this? So I'm going to, oh, why would he say this or that? So we're going to explain why I think that this could be used as a hiding spot for David Miscavige, why he needs to hide, and as well as Shelly Miscavige, he could possibly be imprisoned in one of these underground bunkers. So I said, Gold Base is the most secretive and mysterious Scientology compounds in the world. You mentioned the Bonneview Mansion. David Miscavige told Sea Org members that the Bonneview Mansion needed to be built quickly, as L. Ron Hubbard was returning. So he said that L. Ron Hubbard is going to come back within 13 years of his death in 1986. So this is what David Miscavige proclaimed and why they built this specific mansion on Gold Base. And of course, it's been since 13 years, since 1986. Obviously, it's 2019, but L. Ron Hubbard didn't return. And you would think that these type of things would wake up the Sea Org members at the time. If I got in Scientology right now in 2019, and this is what Scientology really banks on, they hope that they have like an 18-year-old Steve Mango, like again, 10 years ago when I was involved, hoping that they'd have more people like me that know nothing about Scientology, don't know the history. Like, of course, some of these ex-members, I'm not going to name names, but you guys know who they are, who were involved from like on the ship, Commodore's messengers, like working with Hubbard from like day one of Scientology. That wasn't me. But of course, those people now in 2019, if those ex-members were still in, they can look back and see all of the outpoints of Scientology, all of how David Miscavige squirreled the technology in Scientology terms, and all the different things that have changed since L. Ron Hubbard. But someone like me who comes to LA, like say I was saying about those acting auditions, you have someone coming to the Celebrity Center having no idea what Scientology is. Nowadays, of course, there's the internet, there's YouTube, there's media sources, there's so much information, but I'm trying just to think of like just someone who's not really keen to following Scientology news as you and I are, and then they go in and they get sucked into the org. They don't know that David Miscavige said in 1986 that Hubbard's returning in 13 years. Like, no one no one would know that unless you're really doing like heavy research into Scientology. This is why I make these videos, so you guys can see in current time, in 2019, in September, what is actually happening inside Scientology and a little bit of like the past information. But when I joined, I didn't know anything about these type of things. I didn't know that any of the inner workings, hierarchy, anything of Scientology. So just putting that out there. So again, that's an out point, and you would think that staff members, other people would be like, hey, like clearly he didn't come back. So even now in 2019, what's the chance like 30 years later that Hubbard's going to be returning if he didn't do so after those first 13 years? So again, out points and different things. And they have a whole mansion for L. Ron Hubbard. Just like in every org, there's a L. Ron Hubbard office. And in case he ever returns, they'd have his like cool cigarettes on his desk, which I did like a protesting video and I didn't see the cool cigarettes, so they might not be doing that anymore, maybe for waste purposes, but they have a whole office dedicated to L. Ron Hubbard in case he ever returns. So I said, of course, Hubbard never returned, although many Scientologists have tried to come forward to claim they are the reincarnation of L. Ron Hubbard, which is true, and a lot of Scientologists were disillusioned by Scientology, given Hubbard wasn't able to return in the 90s, exactly what I was just telling you guys. And I'm reading the whole email too, so you can kind of see what I said versus what they kind of said in their article. And I said, on Gold Base, underground vaults were created. These vaults store all of L. Ron Hubbard's writings and lectures in the form of etched steel plates in titanium containers, as well as in other forms so that his technology could survive a nuclear holocaust and help reform society. These lectures were placed on laser discs. They have gold laser discs stored in titanium bank vaults with inert gases. This was called the Archiving Project in Scientology. In case of any disaster or worldly event, Scientology will live on and continue on in generations to come, given the work will remain intact and won't be interpreted by someone in the future. The works of L. Ron Hubbard will be exactly as he meant. So there were these underground vaults that were built for storing all the works of Scientology, and the idea being, like I just said, that these works are going to live on for generations and generations. They're exactly as L. Ron Hubbard said, so they could be duplicated and delivered exactly to how L. Ron Hubbard wanted. It's not like the Bible, it's not like other religious works that get passed on from one person to the next, and it's like the telephone game to where it's interpreted or not so exact, so you don't really know 100% if it's like word by word. In Scientology, you're looking up every misunderstood word. Every single thing is exact and literal. And if you don't believe it, you have to go back and clear all your misunderstoods and really understand Scientology and believe it to your core, that it's not like other things. Like Scientology even says, like, believe what you want, and what's true for you is true for you. It's like, okay, but whenever I ever said, oh, I don't believe in this, or I don't think this is exact in my experience, it's like you have to go back and get corrected and reread everything that you read even prior to that, because you might have had a misunderstood word 4 paragraphs ago because something's interfering with, it's Hubbard, so it's going to be true. Everything Hubbard says, he's like a god, right? So if you don't believe it or you're iffy on something, it's probably because you just didn't understand it correctly. So that's what Scientology does. It's like the way that they reform your thoughts and everything is very scary, but that's what these underground bunkers are used for. Then this is where they kind of got me in the article sort of thing. So they told me to speculate on, and again, total speculation here what I'm about to say about the underground bunkers. So I feel that an underground bunker, it's underground, right? So given all these lawsuits that are coming out about Scientology, which I'm going to bring my husband on who's an attorney, and we're going to be kind of discussing some of the legal, or the legalities rather, about these lawsuits of Scientology. But if David Miscavige has to get deposed, or Shelly has to get deposed on one of these lawsuits, look at what L. Ron Hubbard did. He went onto the sea, right, where he's not under any form of jurisdiction, so he was able to escape when the IRS and when there was other people coming after Hubbard, and when there was like too much heat in the United States, what did Hubbard do? He got his most loyal followers and he went on sea, which is the Sea Org, and that's where that derives from, and they were on the ship, and Scientology was able to be delivered on the ship. It still delivered OT8 and other lectures and other OT related things are done on Scientology's cruise ship, if you will. And I don't think that that's really such a big thing to be like, well, why would David Miscavige do it? Of course he would. If he was to protect Scientology, he would of course go to another country. Shelly, of course, could be shipped off to Australia or to some other place where she's not under the watchful eyes of the American government. And I think David Miscavige very much well could already be or be planning to go to another country, or Scientology could eventually, I even think that in 10, 20, 30 years, depending on what happens with Scientology in America, I don't think it's so wild to say that Scientology is going to go completely international, completely on the sea, or go somewhere else. It's never going to be able to be shut down in every country, every continent worldwide. There's going to be somewhere that's going to accept Scientology with open arms. And with all this real estate that could eventually be liquidated, I really do think that Scientology is shifting away from the religious aspect of it and shifting more to the real estate portfolio, wealth, and asset building. But in case Gold Base is ever raided or anything happens, if there are these underground bunkers that are very secretive, who is to say that David Miscavige can't just go underground for protection for the term where there's possibly a raid? I'm not an expert on this, guys. I'm just speculating and telling you guys my thoughts on this. This is my way of having a conversation, and someone who's been an ex-member piecing together different pieces of the puzzle to try to mesh something together, which is a very real possibility. And you guys can, of course, continue the conversation down below, and I love hearing your thoughts. But I just want you guys to just be open-minded when thinking about these different things, because Scientology, you can't put anything past them. I know that other people have said, like I said, online or on Twitter or something like, oh, you know, Steve Mango wasn't on Gold Base, and, you know, who is he to say? It's not like he actually has been on there. It's like, well, I'm basically kind of doing like a little bit of an investigation myself here, and otherwise we don't have real information, guys. Think about it. If we knew Shelly's exact whereabouts 100%, don't you think the government or FBI or other people would at least know exactly where she is? And then if that was the case, then she could be questioned, she could be deposed, and Scientology's not going to be like, well, insert X member here. No, I'm not going to name any names again, but insert name here said they left 4 years ago and said Shelly Miscavige is here. They caught us red-handed. We'll just leave Shelly there. Of course not. They know that Shelly is one of the most highly sought after people right now for her whereabouts in Scientology, or just as like a missing person probably in America right now. One of the top, I would say, at least. So are we trying to say that Scientology is going to leave her there? Of course not. They're going to ship her off to somewhere else. And Scientology has jets. They have ways that they can get Shelly out of the country. They have ways that they can bring her wherever, right? So for David Miscavige, I think that to avoid deposition, whatever, he can go underground and live in one of these underground bunkers if he really had to. Shelly, they could also be hiding her body, or imprisoning her if she's alive, or keeping Shelly in one of these underground bunkers in order to either torture her, to hide her body so there's no whereabouts, there's nothing that you'd be able to find of Shelly Miscavige. Her ashes could be in one of these underground bunkers. I don't know 100%, but this is just what I'm speculating of why else there could be these underground bunkers on Scientology's Gold Base. It's their management base, guys. So again, remember, this isn't like Big Blue where you walk down the street. I myself right now, if I was so compelled, could walk in through their front doors. I could run in. I know where different things are. Even Celebrity Center, I know where to go if I was really looking for something. If I was really trying to. I'm not saying I'm doing that, but I'm just saying I know. And with Shelly Miscavige, it's not like she's going to be at the front desk of, or like walking around the lobby area of Celebrity Center. She's not going to be in a course room, right? She's very highly guarded. And same with David Miscavige. You're not going to walk in Celebrity Center and he's going to just be sitting there just hanging out smoking a cigarette. Like, you're not going to see that. And it's very highly patrolled, barbed wired fences, and there's no way you're going to get onto Gold Base unless you're invited to go. And that's why I think they started the media productions as well, so when actors and other people are shooting, or just for the public image, for celebrities and others, it's easier, instead of telling some actor, well, yeah, we'll reimburse your gas, but drive 2 hours away. No, they say, go to Los Feliz in Hollywood, and you're going to be shooting on, you know, a pretty sound stage, and they can get the actor to go there easily. They have all their things, and they're not showing you guys, and there's no way that someone, a random actor or someone who may have like an undercover plan, they're not going to Gold Base. They're not going to be inside. They're not going to be privy to anything that's going on. They're not going to see anything. They're not going to see the staff. They're not going to see the Hole. Of course, you guys know the Hole is a Scientology prison for their executives. That's on Gold Base. So that Gold Base really should be raided. There really should be something. And this is what I was thinking about the other day too. I don't know what I was reading or anything, but I was just sitting there in my thoughts, and I'm just thinking, in America, in a free country where we live, guys, think about it. We are in a place where there could be prisons against people's wills, right? Like people being held against their will. There's people that are being human trafficked into this base from different countries, and they come onto Gold Base, right? There's people who are there against their will, people who are being tortured, you guys have heard a lot of the different horrible things that actually happen on Gold Base. And this is an actual torture prison facility for Scientologists. They're most dedicated are going there, and it's being presented as, oh, it's such a wonderful, lovely place. Yeah, really? Okay, Scientology. But anyways, they're doing so much on this Gold Base. We're in a free country, and just because they have a religious protection, somehow religious protection doesn't mean that you can go beat people, kill them, or do like horrible criminal acts just because you're a religion. But because they do have a religious protection, it means that they're able to have the security of not being infiltrated by government officials, or really being able to step in and do something, because they do different things like, oh, well, Catholics and other religions imprison people or have them do corrections or different things. I don't know what like the right, I've seen in their press releases, guys, where they would be saying, well, there's different confessionals in all different religions, so there's nothing wrong with us forcing people to confess and things like that, but of like a more severe nature of like their actual torturing things that they actually do to people. So in this article by Radar Online, I did say that David Miscavige will go to any extent to protect Scientology, and even if it means never being in public again to keep Scientology alive, it's a possibility. So I did speculate. So in the article, I'm going to go through it a little bit here. So they were saying that the whereabouts of Shelly Miscavige has been a source of huge mystery. And they show like the photo exclusive up-close aerial shots, and they said that former celebrity Scientologist, not a celebrity, but I thought it was funny, they said former celebrity Scientologist Steve Mango told Radio that Hubbard's writings may be kept in underground vaults at Gold Base. So then they have this quote that they arranged for me. Could there be underground bunkers to store others, such as David Miscavige's allegedly missing wife Shelly, in case Gold Base was raided by law enforcement? Could Shelly be possibly buried, or if alive, in prison within Gold Base within one of these secretive bunkers? My best bet besides the above would be, given David Miscavige is being sued by countless former members for abuse, he's going to be deposed, continued Mango, explaining, if he is ever wanted by law enforcement, I can see there being extensive underground secretive shelters being set up to escape in. As you guys know, I didn't really say that, but again, like these different tabloids, they kind of like take things that you say and they kind of rearrange different quotes. And they, again, on the article, you guys can just look up Radar Online, even Mango maybe, and that will kind of pull up the few times that I've given quotes, and you guys can see the story and see like the underground bunkers and the different things that are set up. So, I mean, I think it's a very real possibility that that could be a reason why there's underground bunkers. Maybe not. I know Tony Ortega did an article, he didn't mention me by name, talking about this and trying to make it seem like Radar Online was kind of fabricating or like really trying to come up with some sort of juicy, kind of crazy, salacious story about this whole entire matter about the underground bunker. Again, not saying anything bad about Tony Ortega, but Tony Ortega wasn't on Gold Base either. I wasn't on Gold Base. So for his opinion to be ranked higher than my opinion, again, I don't really know if that should be the case. Yes, he is an expert on his own right to report on the different abuses about Scientology, but neither one of us were on Gold Base. Other people were. Other people think that they know exactly that, she is at CST headquarters. That's where she is. Other people, remember I did a video, guys, where they spotted her apparently at a hardware store, and there's just various speculation. Is she in America? Is she not? Is she in one of these underground bunkers? Is she alive? Is she not? We don't know, guys. No one knows. If we knew, we'd have a lot more answers here. So I'm going to keep you guys updated on the Shelly Miscavige situation, and if I have any sort of little tidbits, I'll make more videos, guys. I know you guys ask me every single day about it, so I will do my best. Otherwise, guys, besides all of this, I hope you guys have been well. I, again, have been just kind of strategizing my future steps on YouTube and stuff. I think I am going to be hiring someone to help me with my YouTube channels, all three of them. I'm going to be like on like a filming schedule and like doing like really great editing and interviewing people here on Mangotology and doing that. I think I am going to restart my Patreon again and actually start posting like actual content. I actually lapsed when I did it last time and I wasn't really posting on it, so I am going to be hopefully, maybe possibly doing a Patreon again as a way to provide extra content and to elevate this, so I could actually like bring in other ex-members, interview people, and like actually devote a lot of time to having some really great content here. So you guys can do it in advance. I link my Patreon always down below anyways if you guys want to get a head start on that, so I could be able to get contributions to be able to grow this channel. And be able to hire someone to bring this content alive. And I'm going to be working on my Mango Tea channel and Steven Mango TV, and I have a podcast coming out called Mango Juice, and I'll do some ex-Scientology or Scientology related, I don't want to say Scientology related content because it may sound like I'm going to be like reading Dianetics to you guys, which isn't the case, but I am going to be doing a podcast soon. So there's a lot of cool stuff coming very soon here on my YouTube channel, so stay tuned for that, guys. I've been doing well otherwise in terms of my mental health. I've been going to therapy two times a week, and been working on myself personally too, and just trying to get in a good headspace before like really delving back into everything. So I hope you guys understand. You guys can always keep up with me at Steven Mango. I post Instagram stories and stuff so you guys can see my day-to-day life in case you miss me here on YouTube and you want to kind of keep up with me a little bit more actively. Follow me on social medias. Thank you so much for watching, guys. Make sure to subscribe, turn your bell notification, comment down below, and I will see you guys in my next video. Have a good night, guys.